I'm like digesting all the sales, marketing, persuasion, influence, self-help stuff, only because my personal training client was kind enough to force this on me when I asked him in a condescending manner. So the growth curve, like anybody else, was painful because, when you're running a company that's doing $1 million or 5 million or 10 million, all you know is what you know at that time. And all you have is your 3 or 8 or 9 or 10 employees. So we've hit the Inc. 5000 list 4 times now. This year is the 4th time. The Entrepreneur 500 fastest growing franchises twice. This year is the 2nd time. So every time we hit a damn list, which is a good thing, we end up more people buy our franchise because they go, hey, look, this is a thriving franchise. They're getting so many accolades from Inc. magazine and Entrepreneur magazine. And so I know that once the big announcement happens again from Inc. magazine and Entrepreneur magazine in the next 2 months, we're going to onboard more franchisees. We'll probably onboard 30 or 40 a month for a while. And so when that happens, I got to beef up my team. Our revenue is going to go up. So what's going to happen? Well, I'm probably going to hire 10 more people in the next 60 days. I know all 10 of those are not going to be unicorns. I know that I'm going to get some donkeys, and I know that I have to probably fire some of them, and that's not going to feel good, and they're going to cause a mess, and some people might go and complain to the state of California about whatever, that we wrongfully fired them or whatever. But my point is, I'll deal with all that kind of adversity because I know the outcome is going to be greatness. And so the learning curve has always been a challenge. And so now what I do is I surround myself with mentors. So I have a speaking mentor because I speak from the stage a lot. I've got a speaking mentor. I've got his name is Cameron Harold. He used to be the CEO of 1-800-GOT-JUNK, those trucks that come and take all that junk away from your backyard, right? He grew that thing to a $200 million company. Now, Fit Body Bootcamp is going to be a $200 million company very soon. So I've already hired a coach, Cameron Harold, who's been where I want to be so that he can tell me what's coming up for me in the growth trajectory that we have, right? And so between taking those risks and just hiring the people, knowing that not everyone's going to work out, but rolling with the punches anyway, and then hiring a mentor who's already been where I am and he can guide me along as I go. And so for me, I wasn't that smart. So when I was a personal trainer in my mid-20s, at this point, I was around 24, 25 years old. So I was a personal trainer in a big box gym, working, for the man. And because I didn't have enough personal training clients, I also worked as a fry cook at Disneyland, and I also worked as a bouncer at a gay bar because the gay bar paid more than the straight bar. Now, I didn't want to have those 2 other side jobs. No one has the ambition of being a fry cook or a bouncer. You have the ambition of being a personal trainer, a cop, a doctor, a nurse, an accountant. So one day I was complaining to one of my personal training clients, and that's something you should never do. You should never complain. But I was complaining to one of my personal training clients because he asked me, his name is Jim Franco. He said, Bedros, why do you look so tired? It was a Monday morning. I go, Jim, I was working all weekend at Disneyland, at the bar. I hardly got any sleep. I hardly did any self-care and workouts. Like, I'm exhausted, man, and I'm complaining to him. He goes, well, the problem is you don't know how to sell. And I actually got into an argument with him. I said, Jim, actually, I do know how to sell because if I didn't know how to sell, how would I have gotten you as a personal training client? He goes, no, you didn't sell me. He goes, you just took my order. You're an order taker. And I said, what do you mean I'm an order taker? He goes, I knew I wanted to work with a personal trainer. I knew I wanted to work out 3 days a week. And I came up to you and I said, hey, I want to do these things, and you just signed me up and took my money. He goes, but when I see you let people walk because you refuse to sell them and close them, you just let them walk when you listen to their objections and actually believe it and let them walk. He goes, my heart hurts for you. I go, well, Jim, then what do I do? And I was kind of being condescending when I asked that. He goes, tomorrow I'm going to bring you something and you're going to read it. And he brought me a Tom Hopkins sales book. And Tom Hopkins did the real estate sales back in like the 80s. He taught people how to sell real estate. But Tom Hopkins' sales book led to a Brian Tracy cassette tape that he brought me on sales. Then that led to a Dan Kennedy and Jay Abraham and Tony Robbins. And before you know it, I'm like digesting all the sales, marketing, persuasion, influence, self-help stuff, only because my personal training client was kind enough to force this on me when I asked him in a condescending manner. So it wasn't until 25, 26 that I started to voluntarily consume books, cassette tapes, CDs on this kind of self-growth and education. I regret not doing that a decade sooner.